Okay, come on, order the Lowell City Council regular meeting for October 18th. At 7:53. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bennett.
Here.
Councilor Harris.
Here.
Councilor Weathers.
Here.
Councilor Murray. Councilor Stratus is absent.
Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Any changes needed to the agenda that anybody wants to see? Okay, we'll read that as it is. Next up, the consent agenda. Approval of minutes for September 20th, minutes of October 4th, August financial statement, and September check register. Anybody want anything pulled out? Take a motion. Okay. Motion by Dale, second by Maureen, to accept the consent agenda as is. All those in favor of accepting consent agenda, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Good. Public comments. Do we have any public comments? I do. Okay.
Just two items tonight, so.
Okay.
My name is O'Regan, I'm at 62 Third. The first item is I just wanted to mention. Yeah. Right across the street from City Hall, there's situations going on where the city code has been violated. What's ironic is you're moving to a new site and right across the street. I haven't figured out whether it's a junkyard or a used vehicle lot. So I know it goes in one year and not the other. I understand. And but just don't be surprised if you also, the last thing is don't be surprised if someday this town gets sued big time for negligence. And you'll probably hear about it. Reasons why. And
Any questions? Council comment. Hearing none. Next up, the city administrator report. You got one more. All right, I'm sorry.
I don't know this work.
Oh, you go ahead, speak.
Oh,
Do it, please.
okay, so my name is Alicia and I live at 265 North Cannon. And my concern is a neighbor that we've had an issue with for years, not maintaining his yard, actually on both sides. The more concerning one is we have a neighbor whose tree is completely out of control. It has been for years. It's falling down, destroying his house, our property. And at what point, as the city, do you guys step in and say, hey, you need to do something about this tree because it's putting all of your neighbors at risk? You know, multiple neighbors have talked to this guy and you know, about going in with him to maintain his tree or anything. He won't do anything to maintain it. He doesn't maintain his yard. His blackberries are switching the fence down. Since we've lived there, his branches have knocked the power lines down through our yard, hot wires. I have children, pets, and everything else, and nothing ever happens. The tree's completely rotting. So, you know, at what point do you guys step in and force something to happen? And if he's not willing to do it, at what point do you guys take care of it? Because it's a danger to the other people who live around. And what if that tree falls on our house and kills us? He has no homeowners insurance or anything. And it has been complained about by me previously over the years and nothing's been done. So that's what I would.
Mr. Carly, you want to speak to claims, accepting claims and investigation? Please.
As far as Alicia's concerns, this is the first time I'm aware of that. We have a complaint form, if you could fill that out, we have to look at it. And you may have communicated this in the past. That would have been before my time here, so I'd like to contact you, learn more about it, if we call city hall on.
That's correct. I say, city administrator report, please. That's on. 72 of our packet.
Thank you, Mayor. The City Hall and Library renovation project is substantially complete. I have a punch list of remaining items in your packet. The punch list, it has a diagram that calls out the areas in question and has some notes on what those items are. One of the biggest things has to do with tile in the women's restroom, and we're trying to figure that out on how to address that. Items remaining for final inspection, balancing the HVAC system. The contractor has been working on that the past couple of days. We're going to get some handicap spot signage in there. Once we complete that, we should be able to get our final inspections, certificate of occupancy, and all that good stuff. The security system is in place. Fiber optic internet is in place. Our IT consultant is over there installing the hardware, configuring our server, and so on. I have a progress meeting with them on Friday. And based on that, we will set a date for when the city can start moving over there. The IT system needs to be set up. Once that's set up, we can set a date. I'm thinking about a Friday where we can get moved in, be ready on Monday. The IT guy comes in on Monday, configures our workstations, and we're up and running. And I'll report back to you on that when we get to that point. Ship date for library shelving, that's sometime in November. Other items. I met with our representative from Lorraine. We have a new venture capitalist. She's looking at an entrepreneurial open house on November the 3rd. And we'll push out more information as we confirm the details. I participated in the Oregon Economic Development Association annual conference in Coos Bay earlier this month. It was the first time I've had the opportunity to network in person with other professionals across the state. And I really enjoyed that opportunity. We learned a lot and made some good connections. The Parks Committee wants to donate their labor to build or repair the benches at Paul Fisher Park if the city buys the materials. And I'm trying to work out a time for us to go buy those materials. I received confirmation from the Department of Land Conservation and Development that we're not going to be required to participate in the Climate Friendly and Equitable Communities Program. If we had been required, there would have been some complicated planning processes that we would have had to complete. And lastly, paid leave Oregon program goes into effect January 1st. The city staff and I are trying to plan for how we'll implement that. That will require us to take a look at our employees' paychecks. And I actually do have one thing. Yesterday, there was a meeting with the Lane County Emergency Management. We started the emergency management planning. We're incorporated into that. And they are anticipating that to finish sometime in the summer of 23. We're going to have some homework over the next few months to identify hazards in the community. And they already have a website up and running. I'll push that out to you so you can start thinking about it. So that's at no cost to us except our staff time. The benefit is once that's in place, we will qualify for FEMA hazard mitigation. What questions do you have for me?
So we've had a couple of starts on this. With emergency management here, even since you've been here. Has anybody directly address what's different this time? Is it gonna go through?
It's going through, but Lane County has grant awards for this. There was a lot of people from a lot of different agencies on that meeting yesterday. I'll send you the web link so you can look at it. This is a serious project.
It needs to be, you know, and Lord knows. We've got examples of why it needs to be.
It is, and some of the other small cities that are incorporated, Crestwell, Bonita, Westford is in it, Oak Ridge, they were on a call yesterday. Florence is participating.
On the big list, those items, contractor pays for those, corrections, for the weekday.
They'll pay.
That's what I hope to say. And, opening first week or two of November, it sounds like to me.
That's very likely. I'll have more information after Friday.
Probably a little bit.
And the library probably December. Maybe.
I saw you put it there, they may use some shelving from, existing, that means that they could be opening prior to December then?
Staff and I need to talk about that and see what we want to do.
It's moving all that stuff in,
Limited time.
and then moving it out, you're gonna end up damaging, those carpet tiles or something like that, possibly. That would
Yeah, it was just something that we mentioned. Probably not necessary.
I like your answer. Okay. Next up is public works. Did you have anything?
Yeah, really. Good evening, everybody. Just quick couple updates. Paul Fisher Park, not sure if you guys were, we did take down the adult playground swing set today. It was hazardous. Originally, we looked at just replacing the swings and chains. But upon further inspection, the whole thing is just a safety hazard. So we actually took it out of service completely. We are looking into options for replacement, and we'll update you guys with that when it comes. We will be reopening Roller Rock Park restrooms, hopefully tomorrow if we get the right component parts. There's still all the same parts out there, so we locked it up late last week. We will not be opening Paul Fisher Park still significant damage in the restroom there. And that's all I have. If you guys have any questions for me, I was gonna give you an update on the meters. We have 385 meters in the ground replaced, the new one, out of a total of 454. We're getting there. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have to put rubber bowls inside of the bathroom. Something, foam, something like that. Okay, next up, we have two police reports. July and August. See, one of them had quite a few hours. Is that, did we have something going on that, for the extra hours, or is it good to us?
July was Blackbridge, Jim.
Is that right for it? Okay. There was something. July. I just saw that.
Yeah, 15 hours on July 30th.
Good. Questions about that? Up to new business. Motion to authorize city administrator place an order for closures.
So, the library has $40,000 to buy books in grant funding. We actually had slightly more than that. One of the smaller foundations had very specific rules to follow to get their books, and that money has already been spent. We have a complete set of capital payments and all those other good things. Taking that grant, which was specific to children's, into consideration, I allocated the funds $40,000 following the general this is how much you should spend, given that children's books cost less than adult books, etc. I approached the 3 largest book wholesalers that work with libraries, Baker and Taylor, which didn't get back to me. Brodart, which is also the company we're getting our shelving from, and Ingram, which has the advantage of having a local, their West Coast warehouses in Roseburg. So their turnaround time from that warehouse is really good. They responded, Ingram and Brodart responded with detailed proposals and huge forms for me to fill out. Where do you want the barcode? Where do you want the, what font do you want on the spine label? Just a million questions for each of them. What the way the process works for what's called an opening day collection is you go through, I fill out all these forms, I tell them I want popular fiction with an emphasis on faith-based romance and westerns. And they come back and they say, well, here's the bestsellers. Obviously, you want to get fairy tales, the new Stephen King book. You got to get some Patterson. But here are other things. All things we asked for were published 2019 or more recently. So that there wouldn't be that overlap with the existing collection. The rates come down to about the same. Some processing costs a little more, some discounts are a little less. But just like you don't just go to Home Depot or Lowe's, you hit both of them to make sure you're getting your best deal. You go to multiple vendors. The first list were put together at the end of September. I can order books tomorrow if that's what we want to do. I've included a sample of some of the kinds of things we're looking at. I think we're well on the way to having a really interesting opening day collection that hits the things that I already know the community is interested in, and have held back enough funds to find out that, oh, well, it turns out there are hypothetically 12 people in town who are completely into sailboats. So I need to get sailboat books, but I didn't know that. So I didn't want to spend all the money before I had a chance to really interact with people in the community.
Go ahead, please. Disregard words.
Okay.
I did notice in your list that I expected to see a lot of children's books, but there was a lot of adult books there too. Things that looked like I say, quite interesting.
Yeah, the with the children's books, I went with Scholastic, which is the big children's publisher. And they're already arriving. The other area that I didn't include the list in because my middle school age grandson had not completely signed off on it yet, is we're getting a lot of graphic novels and anime, which is what middle school and high school kids want to read these days. I have long lists of those as well.
You said you could order these tomorrow. Approval. Would they be here before the shelving?
They could be, yes. Especially since the shelving is due to ship the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, which of course is when shipping becomes a nightmare.
So,
But we should have a library for Christmas.
the other question?
Can you talk more about what processing you will need to do with all the books?
I'm sorry.
What will the volunteers need to do to get those ready to go on the shelf?
I have been adding the books to the catalog. The catalog is up and looks great. And have then been passing them on to get all the labels. I stick on the barcode when I add catalog, but they put on the spine labels and things like that. They've also been doing, a couple of the volunteers have been working, adding adult fiction, which is the easiest because the call number is F and 3 letters of the person's name. So there's no, do we put it here, do we put it there, kinds of things like there are with the children's collections. The volunteers have also been doing an incredible job with all of the extra books that we have. We shipped off 34 boxes of books to thrift books today.
Good.
So we should see a return on that soon.
We are a wonderful library hunters.
Yes,
The prices that were in charge for processing are less than usual days, so I don't have any concerns.
At least, yeah. We want it done. Definitely. First day.
yeah, so,
Yes,
yes,
we get questions about when can people start donating books.
actually, we're in the new building. Because my hope is to get rid of as many of the. We still have a couple of hundred boxes of books. To go through.
That's what I expected. So you're really not looking for donations until you get up and
Yeah.
running and can find them.
Yes,
And people aren't to bring them and drop them off.
we would prefer that they didn't, but if they show up, we will take them, unless they're encyclopedias and. We did have someone who wanted to give us a set of Encyclopedia Britannica. We could not take that.
We have a mechanism for financial donation.
Oh, yes. We will happily take their donation.
Go ahead, kid.
That'd be good.
And-
We're interested in-
Yeah, I'm also putting together a wish list as I've been going through and seeing. We're missing one volume of a set. These are things that if you wanted to buy and give us, we'd be really happy to get.
Because some people prefer to do.
Yeah,
specific things.
and down the road, we will do a formal memorial celebration bookmark, book plate kind of thing, honoring as a way to honor people.
Well,
I'd like to make a motion to authorize, the administrative replacement order totaling 13,021 to acquire library items.
motion by Jenny, second by Dale. For a motion to authorize the city administrator to place an order. Totaling $13,021 to acquire books. and other material for the Maggie Osgood Library. All those, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Good. I suppose. Anything else? What the business you gotta get? I ain't read anything like that. You didn't tell me?
Mayor.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry. I didn't see it.
One slight housekeeping that is, and I think, Council whether it's on the minutes for October 4th, I was in attendance at that meeting.
October 4th. Okay, we will need a motion to. We will need to amend that motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I'll second it. Yeah. Maureen's moved, I second, that we amend the October minutes to show that Cindy Murray was. All in favor? Aye.
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 Change,
Oh, we got it covered. You were there,
They were pretty.
make sure that you get paid for it.
Yeah.
Oh, since I need to adjourn this. Anything else, anybody? We're adjourned at 8:08.